Okay, so I call this meeting to order at 10 o'clock. Morning, everyone. I will read the land acknowledgement. The city of Thorold is situated on treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Hadiwendorong, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. There are many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island that live and work in Niagara today. The city of Thorold stands with all Indigenous people, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship of the lands on which we live. Thank you. Are there any declarations of interest? Nope? Okay. Moving on to the adoption of the agenda. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Dave has moved, Tom has seconded. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Then that is carried. Can I have a mover and a seconder for the adoption of last meeting's minutes, please? Mary and Jonathan. I call the question. All those in favor of adopting the minutes? Anyone opposed? Then that is carried as well. Thank you. Correspondence. Are there any items of correspondence, Justin? No? Moving on to financial invoices for payment. I have handed in the last few little print invoices for programs and reports and such, so that's all with Morgan. There was nothing else in terms of invoices. Those had been, the main ones had already been handed in last time. And then there's the 2025 budget. Council has not voted on that yet. I just know from Morgan that our budget will most likely be the same as last year, so we will try and stay within those limits. And I have put in my requests accordingly. Any comments with regards to this? No? By the way, there will be a slight change to the way the budget will be decided upon next year. The planning department and us, probably me, will meet sometime in the summer to basically voice our requests of what we'd like to do next year and work on the budget before Council actually starts discussing budgets. So we'll try and be on top of that a few months ahead of time. So if anybody has any brilliant ideas of what we'd like to do in 2026, maybe think about that during the first half of the year so that by the time budget requests are handed in, we might already have an idea. Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to ongoing business, we have our installation of plaques. Nothing much in that respect is going to happen over the next couple of months, just due to weather. The Stone Store and Trinity United will get theirs when first of all weather permits, and when the Trinity United group is ready to receive theirs. We have that plaque already ready. We do have the Stone Store plaque too. It's still missing in action, but hopefully by the time weather permits, we will actually have located it. Then candidates for this year's plaque installations for properties that don't have one yet, or plaque replacements. I put in this year's budget requests to replace one of the stands and plaque, which amounts to about $800 in cost. The most expensive thing is the stand. Usually we ask for two of those. I made the request for only one. The amount equivalent to a second one to plaque replacements on those stands that need to be replaced, either to fading, which is quite a problem. We know that with the old type of plaques, and also if there are mistakes on a plaque, which we know one property owner in particular has a typo on their plaque. So that one definitely will be replaced this year. With regards to the faded plaques, I know there have been people, I think during the garage sale in September, that have made comments, I think a win to you or to your mother at your house. If you still have the names of those people or can get a hold of them, then let us know. And if anybody else knows of plaques that have faded, then please let us know. Okay, so that we can replace those. And then we will have to decide on one plaque that will be installed at an already designated site this year, so stand and plaque. Our website posts history plaques, however, not all of them. There are some that I have already filled in that I know have a plaque, even though they're not listed on the site. Others I'm not sure about. If maybe by next, what I could do is send a list to all of you of the ones that I don't think have a plaque. You can look it over, and maybe by next meeting we can decide on a property that we want to plaque this year. There are some. What I will do is I will list the properties that I don't think have one, and maybe also divide that up into two categories, because there are some properties where I'm not 100% sure whether they should have a plaque like that simply because of where they are located. If they're located on a busy street and there's an information plaque there, does that make much sense? If there are no parking spots allowed for in the area, will people stop on a street where that's not safe in order to read that plaque? We can talk about that next time, but I will put all of that on that list so that you can see what the properties are and, how feasible it is to plaque them or not. Two owners of historic homes who are present here today, I'd like to ask a question, because their homes' plaques are not listed on the heritage site. So I'm just going to ask you whether your house has one or not. Jonathan, does the parsonage have a history plaque?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that. Yes, we have a plaque.
Okay, and Linda, does the Fraser McMahon house have a history plaque?
Yes.
You do? Okay, good.
Yes.
Then those two we don't have to worry about. All right, that's it. Any comments about plaquing? Mary.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. Have you got the Robert Elliott House on that list?
The Robert Elliott House is on my list.
Yeah, he doesn't want a plaque. Again, I can't speak for him, but last we spoke to him, he doesn't want one. He doesn't agree with the information that's written on it. He wants to write his own thing, maybe, I don't know. But just so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, then he will have to pay for his own plaque.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so you could X him off.
Unless the information that he wants on it agrees with the heritage report done on the house. But
Yeah.
there have been controversies about a couple of designated sites in the city where the owners did not agree with the date that the
Yeah, that's one of
heritage
his things
expert.
too, yeah.
Yeah. So if that is the case, I think we should give credence to the heritage expert rather than to the owner.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I just meant take him off your list, so that's one less you have to do.
Okay, all right. Okay,
Thank you.
thanks, Mary. Any other comments with regards to plaquing? Nope, then we'll move on. Heritage permit status update. We're just coming from the holiday break. Nick, I assume there are no updates yet, right?
That's correct, Madam Chair. Nothing to report yet.
Okay. Overdue Heritage Awards. I have had one printed for Kathy Peltier and Bob Liddicoat. That will be presented at council. I have changed the certificate slightly to add the signature of the mayor. We approved that with the mayor first to make sure that he was all right with that. But I thought, you know, if a resident gets a Heritage Award, it would be nice if it were signed not just by the Heritage Chair, but also by the City of Thorold Mayor. It is printed. I will have it framed. Heritage Week is in February, but Kathy and Bob are away for that month. So it will be presented in council at one of the first meetings after they are back, whenever it fits into council schedule. Councillor, if you could note that as requesting to put that into a council meeting once they are back. Justin?
Yeah, through you. Once you have the date, just contact the city clerk
Okay.
and the mayor's office.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. The other award that's outstanding to Andre Wagner, I haven't had printed yet because I thought his wife, who was involved in the restoration of that house as well, should be included. I have no way of getting in touch with him until I've actually gone to his house and asked his tenant how I can contact him. But I'm not 100% sure whether Victoria has the same last name as Andre, so I want to make sure that the names are correct on the certificate. So we will do that once we know that, and maybe, Councillor, we can go over there within the next couple of weeks or so and try and find out how to get in touch with them. That was any other comments with regards to Heritage Awards? No? Okay. Next thing on new business is, that's new business now. Different topic. Street name working group. We have compiled our list of names that we would like to suggest to the city. I'm not gonna give you all of these right here, right now, but we have divided it up into various categories. And, what we would like to do is suggest some recent Thorold residents who have passed away, who were important contributors to heritage and local history, both in Thorold, 2 Thorold residents, and 1 Niagara resident who also fulfills the diversity aspect that we'd like to include in our suggestions. She was a Niagara Falls resident, but a local historian, Niagara historian, and for years the head of the Black History Society of Niagara. So we should confirm with her family that they are okay with the suggestion, but she would be a good candidate for both local history and diversity reasons. The other 2 people we'd like to suggest, I already confirmed with the families, and they love the idea, so that's already done. Then we have a few historic people that we'd like to suggest. Thorold residents and also, or Thorold families, settler families. And those ones are not on the register yet, so we'll add those. There are a lot of historic Thorold families that already have street names named after them. That's why we branched out a little bit. First of all, to add a larger diversity aspect to the street names, we then widened the search all across Niagara because historic documentation of non-white persons was sparse. So in order to have actual names, you might not find very much in Thorold documents, but in Niagara documents we find a little bit more, and we came up with some African American names and also some indigenous names that are of historic importance in the area. And then we went into our natural heritage. Now, trees are also used already quite widely. However, what is not used at all are native birds. So I researched birds of the short hills, indigenous species, and there's quite a long list that are not on Thorold's street name register yet. They are nice names, they're safe names, and they will make up quite a nice list already. It's quite a few names that we could come up with. And Tom and also former chair Craig Russell came up with the suggestion of historic traits. Pardon me, Councillor?
Sorry, Madam Chair. Craig Finley.
Craig Russell. I said Craig Russell, right? Yes, Tom Russell and Craig Finley. There is a Craig Russell too, but it's not him. Historic traits such as mason, carpenter, blacksmith, exactly, shipwright, those are all safe names as well. And none of them were used except for Turner and Taylor. Those two we already have because they're probably also last names. So, but all the rest are still open. And then it might also be a nice idea in the current climate to throw in a few patriotic Canadian names such as Butler, Ranger, Loyalist, which don't exist. Yet the city can decide whether they will want to go that route. But we have a Beaver Dams, but we don't have Fitzgibbon, for instance. So we'll have probably about 40 or 50 names to suggest to the city. That's that. Any comments? And please, if you have a brilliant idea of what to add to this, please let us know. I'll be happy to accommodate. Linda, yes?
I had a citizen that I saw. She belongs to the Beaver Dams church group, and she said she would like to forward a family name. So when I get it, I'll forward it to you, Anna.
Is that a historic family name?
I don't know.
Okay, all right.
It's a family name she thought should be on the list, and
Okay.
that's her opinion. And I don't know what the name is. She didn't tell me at the time.
Okay. Yeah, well, let us
Okay.
know, and then we can decide whether it's suitable. The city has certain requirements that have to be fulfilled, but if that particular name does, then we'll suggest it, and then it's the city's prerogative to accept it or not.
Yeah, that's fine. But
Okay.
she said she had my email address. I haven't seen the email yet, but when I get it, if I get it, I'll forward it to you.
Okay, thanks very much, Linda. Any
Yeah.
other comments? Nope. Okay, then moving on to Lake Gibson corridor, that's a new thing on the agenda. I myself and the councillor have been approached by the Lake Gibson Corridor Community Liaison Group, who have worked for quite some time already towards the conservation of the Lake Gibson corridor as a protected historical park. This issue was already brought to the Environment Committee last April, and the Environment Committee put forward a motion to vote in favor of supporting this particular endeavor. I'm going to put this to, I would like to bring the same motion to the Heritage Committee. This area is not only environmentally important, it is highly important historically. As first of all, going back to the indigenous trail system that converges in that area, settlements, early settlements, and huge canal history importance, also early electric development in the city. I mean, the Lake Gibson water bodies, as you know, are not natural. They basically supply the hydroelectric plant with the water that is needed to generate power. So I would like to, if you are in agreement, put forward a motion that the Heritage Advisory Committee support the goal to move forward with the process towards creating a Lake Gibson Conservation Historical Park. Thoughts? In Dave?
Good
So can we move straight to the motion, Justin? Yeah, if nobody has any points to make or objection. Yes, Jonathan?
I'm just like, how big of an area are they talking about? Because you could go all the way to where we had the ceremony, and for the turning the sod and all the way back up, obviously.
Yeah,
then-
it's basically the southern edge of it is where the sod took place at the Ellenberg Bridge, and then it is an irregular shape. So it roughly follows the, I didn't bring the map that I was given along. It's a fairly large area. It has important wetlands that are extremely important environmentally. And it's just also, from a historic point of view, extremely important. But I'm happy to forward the map to you so that you can see exactly where it's located. There are no buildings on that entire area except for some of the houses in the Beaver Dams community.
Right.
So everything else is what wetland, lake, water, swampy areas, I would imagine, probably some forest, but it's natural area.
Right. So I would say, like, if we could offer the heritage aspect, then that helps make the case for supporting it for the environmental aspect as well. Like that's,
well,
that's a win-win.
Yeah, to get as many groups on board for this is probably a good thing. And, you know, it's also, if it's becomes a conservation park, then of course it can also be designated as a heritage landscape. So, do I read the motion again, or? So can I have a mover and a seconder for this motion? Tom has
I'll
moved.
move it.
Linda has seconded. I call the question. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? No? Then that is carried. So I'll let the community liaison group know that we have voted on that, and there will be a meeting within the next month or so with the NPCA that everyone is very much hoping will get involved in this. And any news that comes up, I will bring to the committee. For now, we basically don't do anything until we have more information about how and if the NPCA will take a leading role in this. Okay, yes,
could you-
Linda?
You're using an acronym. What do those letters stand for?
NPCA, the Niagara Peninsula Conservation
Okay.
Authority.
I thought it was M, not N. Sorry,
Okay,
my hearing.
all right. Any other comments? Nope, okay, then we move on. Work plan, designation priorities, single properties. We already have the NPCA's permission to designate the St. John's Schoolhouse. So since we do not have another single property right now, I suggest that we move ahead with this, that I, with your consent, that I approach my contact at the MPCA and make sure that they are okay with that process for this year. And if they are, then I will get a signature from them, and then we can do the research that is required. But I put it to the committee that you are okay with designating the St. John's Schoolhouse as a heritage site. Do I word this as a motion, Justin?
Maybe check with the MPCA, see if they're good with that first, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, I mean, they have already basically given their approval, but you want me to get the approval whether it's okay this year?
Yeah, like later we'll have to pass motion for the report and
Yeah.
getting all that done, so.
Yeah, okay, so I'll get in touch with Adam Christie, get his okay, that they're okay for this year, and then in the next meeting, we will pass a motion whether or not to designate the schoolhouse. And then have Sarah do the research on it. Okay? All right, then moving on to districts. We talked briefly about districts last time. We all know this, if it ever comes to fruition, will be a very lengthy process. And as Nick has already told us, the first step would be to delineate what could be a district. We have various districts in the city that would be very suitable. One, of course, being our Front Street area. And please correct me if you are of a different opinion. From Claremont Street to Regent Street, Front Street would be the most obvious area to tackle, simply because it's the smallest and already has the highest concentration of already designated buildings in comparison of how many properties are on that stretch. So that would certainly be one place to start if we wanted to go that route. Then there's, of course, the old residential area east of Carlton Street, maybe including Carlton Street, to the canal. And there are the north-south boundaries we have to be careful with. There are historic homes that are, further afield, but to include them would probably put too many properties on that list, and we do need 25% that qualify as having heritage potential. So if we can look at that area and maybe put its boundaries somewhere where it makes the most sense, where it has the highest chance of success, that would be a place to start there. And of course, the third area that deserves recognition is Old Port Robinson, and the same applies to Port Robinson as to the Carlton to the Canal area, that we have to make sure to have the boundaries somewhere that makes the most sense, that gives it the highest chance of success if we wanted to go that direction. Any comments? No? Tom?
Madam Chair, I really believe we should start with Front Street.
Yeah, I do too.
Visually so important and has such an impact on people. And it would be a really good learning curve for us to work with that area because it's so vibrant and so full of our history. And if we did that, we would have a template for other projects. But I really believe that area should be first.
Yeah. I agree with that also because it would probably be the easiest one to do. Now, this won't happen this year. This might not happen next year, so it will be a slow process. It is probably something that I can talk to planning about in the summer. And I think the best approach would be to approach most of the property owners on that stretch individually and feel them out, because the city is not going to approve an expensive heritage report on a district if there is a good chance that it will be protested by the public and never go through. So we should have a very good chance of this actually happening before we put a project like that to City Council to approve. So I think we have some legwork to do to, first of all, be present whenever we can at city events and get people on our side, and also individually approach Front Street property owners. It's not, a heritage district is not exactly the same as having your place individually designated. Am I correct there, Nick, that a owner of a historic building in a district, if it's not individually designated, might not be as opposed than having a designation plaque on their individual building?
Thanks, Madam Chair. Yeah, so it is quite different than having a Part 4 designation, and it's more about character of the area and broad features rather than specific property features. So, in terms of if people want to do things to their property or things like that, there's a different, standard, if you will, of what to apply for. So it's generally less onerous than a Part 4 designation. So in that way, there can be less opposition to it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So,
And I was gonna mention too, if you like, I can put together or work with planning to put together like kind of a frequently asked questions or maybe talking points if you are talking to property owners about it, just about what would a district mean or what wouldn't it mean. So I'd be happy to help out with that.
great, that would be fantastic. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Yep, awesome. Any comments with regards to that particular issue? No? Okay, then moving on to landscapes. I have gotten in touch with the city about the old section of Lakeview Cemetery and its present status. The ownership is not resolved yet, but it is expected to be resolved sometime this year. If and hopefully when this is resolved, then we could move forward with towards a possible heritage landscape designation for the cemetery. But we'll have to wait until the the ownership issues are resolved. As you know, that was Seaway land. There were talks in the past about a fifth canal or reservoirs for the canal. That is not going to happen now, but the property has not been formally signed over to the city yet. Any comments with regards to heritage landscapes? Nope. Then we'll move on to info events and fairs. The real estate community information session has not happened yet. I will get in touch with John Lally again, I imagine, with the post-holiday atmosphere that probably got forgotten about a little bit, but I will be on top of that and make sure that happens in the near future. So no news there. And with regards to other events, I have already put us on the list of participants in the Earth Day fair, which will be, Councillor, in March.
I think so, Madam Chair. I don't have a exact
Yeah, I forget
date.
the exact
It's,
date.
I believe the week after Easter this year. It's
Oh,
gonna-
that is in April.
Yeah, so there you
Okay.
go.
Anyway, whenever it is, I will be there with a table with the Heritage Committee. Whoever would like to join me, you're very welcome to do so. Great, thank you very much. Any comments and any suggestions of events that we should participate in? Obviously, if there's anything at the Senior Center, we will be there. And of course, the summer market, the Canada Day events, we will be there. But if there's anything else that you know of where it would be good for Heritage Thorold to be present, please let me know, and I'll be happy to be there and represent us. Okay. On that topic, we might also want to think about, that's probably not going to happen this year because there won't be any money for the budget, in the budget for this, but we can bring that up in the summer budget discussions. It might be nice to have a heritage fair in Thorold. And maybe it can be connected with diversity, because it would be nice to have different groups represented, like our, loyalist and canal and Victorian heritage, but there's also other citizens in Thorold that come from different backgrounds, and if there were food vendors, for instance, to have different foods from different parts of the world done by groups here in Thorold, that would be a great thing, or any cultural display that might want to be, brought to that particular event, whether it be music or art or whatever. That might be something that could be a great event for the summer, one day. But it would have to be figured out beforehand how much it would cost and all those kind of things, and be fitted into the budget, obviously. So if you have any bright ideas with regards to that, then please bring them to the table in one of our next meetings. Thanks. Any comments with regards to info fairs? Nope? Okay. Does anybody have any comments regarding our outstanding items? Yes, Councillor?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just one, the Friends of Beaver Dams meeting has been postponed this month and will be starting up again next month.
Okay, thank you. And Nick?
Yes, thank you. Just that I have the bylaws for the Monroe House and the Port Robertson school slotted in to go to council, the second one in February. So there's a bit of delay with the holidays getting those organized, but I hope to have those there, and then we can finally get those done.
Great, thank you very much. And Linda?
Friends of Beaver Dams, they did postpone it because there wasn't much on the agenda, but there is on the agenda. They're working on getting the second stairway up to the balcony section. So that there was a staircase there before, it's not there now, so they have to put the second one up. There's one on the right, there'll be one on the left.
Okay, great.
Okay?
Anything else? Nope. Okay, then we move on to roundtable. Mary?
Nothing at this time.
Right, Dave?
Nothing at this time, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Jonathan?
Nothing at this time, Madam Chair.
Thanks. Win?
Nothing from me, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Linda?
Nothing more.
Nick?
Nothing else for me today either.
Ray?
No, nothing today, thanks.
Thank you. Ricardo?
Nothing to add at this time, Madam Chair.
Thanks. Counselor?
Nothing more, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Tom?
Just briefly, Madam Chair, when you were talking about Port Robinson, you were talking about, the potential for the downtown area. I've had a preliminary meeting with Fred Addis and Professor Kimberly Monk from Brock University, and Professor Monk has expressed a sincere interest in looking at the area and developing that. So we will continue to meet, and as that progresses, I'll come back to the committee.
Great. I think there were also some forays made to involve the Seaway in this, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, great. And Justin?
Nothing to add.
Thank you. Our next meeting will be held on February 25th. Tom will most likely be out of commission for that meeting since he has surgery at the beginning of the month. So we will be one down. So I'm saying that right now because we need 6 for quorum. So if you can plan, if possible, for that meeting, that would be great. And if there's no further business, this meeting, Mary.
Sorry, I just wanted to say we all wish you a speedy recovery, Tom.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to being able to get around. Very well. Thanks.
Okay. All right. There being no further business, this meeting is adjourned at 10:43. Thank you very much, everybody, and we'll see you next month. Bye.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Bye.